Steve, good weekend for us, mate. We had a cracking show on Friday, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but Saturday night we had Brad Rea making his debut for boxer, and what a debut, mate.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic fight, and I've said to a few people, you know, like he put the kid down, Jess Smith, in the first round with a big heavy body shot, and he might not have got up from that, which would have meant really that Brad wouldn't have learned much, but the fantastic thing was he did get up and he took Brad 8 hard rounds, and you know, I wasn't as tight as the scorecard for me, but every round was competitive. I just felt that Brad's better placement of the shots were pinching the rounds, and the fact that Brad was hurting him every round, and even though he was catching Brad took a lot on the arms, and he never really hurt Brad, even though he did make a little dent in him, sort of thing. You know, fantastic fight. The only downside to that was that it wasn't shown live on Sky, which is disappointing.
Well, for me it was quality versus work rate. Smith had great work rate, but Brad had fantastic quality with the shots.
Yeah, like we say, it'll do him a world of good, that one. You know, in hindsight, getting the 8 rounds out is a lot better than the first round stoppage. So really pleased, and again his profile's come up after his last fight that he'd had on Sky. So
that's what
can only help him going forward, can't it?
Yeah, that's what you want. You want, you know, on the big stage to go out and deliver and have a fight that everyone was talking about, arguably the fight of the whole show. So, but then
I don't even think it was arguable. I think it was the fight.
Yeah, it was. You're right. But we also had an absolute. I think we knew it was going to be a good show because of debutants. Like 8 debutants. We had. Well, there was 9, including one of the away opponents. But they always made for a good night, and it was a brilliant night on Friday night down at the Olympia, which was kick-started by Alex Bianco's super featherweight, who's an exciting kid.
It was a pleasure to have him on. I know Alex is doing a lot for him and putting a bit of money into him to keep him in the country, and that was why we put him on our show, that he needed to get an extra fighting before the end of October so he could stay in the UK and get his visa. So A, it's a nice 12 pound, and B, it's good to have some talent like that, and it was a good fight to open the show with.
It was. But then we had a kid that a lot of people have been talking about, you've heard good things about, but we've both never seen him fight, Ben Marksby, and what a performance again.
Yeah, do you know what, he was a good performance, and like you say, I've not seen him fight, and I liked his style. It's easy to the eye, isn't it, and you know, I'm sure he'll go on to do good things and be in a lot of good fights. And you know, what we've got to do is make sure we bring him along at the right pace, because he's been out for a little while, and obviously for us we're going to try and develop a Darlington kid down in the Manchester northwest area. So you know, we've got to look at trying to get a show or 2 up there, or get him on one of the biggest shows up there, and build his following similar to what we did to Josh Waddington in Leeds.
Yeah, but like I say, not the opponent that we'd normally pick for someone like that. Again, the kid was not just a winning record, but a very good winning record, and a high knockout percentage. I think he's 11 wins, he'd stopped 9 of them.
Yeah, but we'd seen him against Chamberlain, and obviously we had a marker from that from Ben fighting Chamberlain a few times in the amateurs. So we was quite happy to take that opponent, and he was shown that the confidence that his team put into Ben was correct on the night.
Yeah. I'm not sure how it all won, but another kid that stood out, making his debut, another very good amateur from Liverpool, Jake Harrison.
Yeah. You know, you put the kid down in the first round, and you've got to give credits to Kieran, haven't you, for staying in there with him, because
he was making his debut. He was one of our Bianco boys. He was going on the road.
And let's have it right, he won't have many more harder fights than that, will he, when he's going on the road, and fair play to him. But yeah, Jake looks a very talented kid, suited for the pros. He wasn't an amateur style shot, whipping a lot of body shots in, and again, he's only a young kid, 18, so...
No, he's not, he's 22.
Is he 22?
Yeah, 22.
I've got that one wrong, I do apologise.
But he's, like I said, he doesn't brag. I went to do the interview with him, knowing that he'd won 2 national titles, but actually didn't know that he was in about 7 or 8 finals as well, besides the 2 that he won. And his final was in the NBA final as well, elite NBA final. So yeah, very talented lad.
Definitely sure to work with.
And then is he one of our fighters, or he's one of James Russell's fighters? James McCarthy.
He's with James, yeah.
Right.
So obviously we work closely with James, and Smogger trains him. So you know, we all work together. So we found him a slot on the show, and he did well, James McCarthy.
He did, because that was a hard fight for him, really, because.
Well, like you were saying about Ben before, it's slim pickings at the moment. Sometimes you've got to take something you wouldn't take, but again, he got through that fight quite comfortably.
He did.
I'm sure they'll move him on at the right pace as well.
Then another very good amateur that we signed through lockdown, Ryan Hickings against Daniel Little. A really, really good performance in the fact that just simple what he does out there, but it's a wonderful jab on him.
Yeah, nice jab with decent footwork, and you can see that he has got an amateur pedigree behind him, hasn't he? And I'm sure I'm sure he's only 18. I might get that one wrong.
Yeah, I think he's 18 or 19 now.
Must be getting them all confused. But he's only a young kid, and physically will grow, and I'm sure Tonks will work on getting the amateur style to suit more of the pro style, although he'll have to keep those benefits he's got, as you say, the great jab. We don't want to lose that. Yeah,
and again, from a great fighting family, because his uncle, is it, who's Jazza?
I know Jazza Dickens is related to him, and I believe he's got another brother who fights in the amateurs, does okay, yeah.
Right. And again, going on that family theme, Liam Moon, who's, I think his uncle is Alex Moon, the former.
That's right, yeah, he had a decent debut, didn't he? You know, again, exciting fighter, and you know, sold a few tickets, and I'm sure they'll all come back and bring the mates to watch him next time.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good, because the kid he fought, that Simmers, well, that's terrible, isn't it? He fought an show hundreds of times, fought some of the best kids in the country, and it was his 100th fight as well. As a professional.
I didn't know that, otherwise we'd have got him a bottle of champagne or something. So
Passo just gave him a little shout out at the end, didn't he, for doing that. But yeah, he was very game for him. He did really well to survive that fight, because I think Alex was looking really, really strong towards the end of that fight, wasn't he? And then we had 2 crackers back to back. We had I'm not sure which way he went round, but Paddy Lacey making his debut, the footballer. Against Stanko Janelli.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was another one when we talk about slim pickings with the phone. So Paddy's going to be a light middleweight. And this one was 12 stone, because he was fighting like a super middle stroke light heavyweight. But you know, we'd seen him over there before with Dex, and was confident that Paddy would be out boxing, which he did. You know, but I think in the first round, Paddy hurt him and went for the finish right at the end, and then he was a bit, should we say, relaxed at the start of the second and got caught with one, which stiffened his legs a little bit, and we was out in the mouth for a little while. But he come through that, and then he won the fight comfortably. So you know, next time we'll have to fight more his own weight. You know, so it's going to be out on the 26th of November again, and we're going to make sure we get something near his own weight.
Yeah, but it was a good fight, a real
entertaining fight.
And then another one that had even more excitement than that one. Again, making his debut, Ben Berlin from Venture over in Birkenhead. Against a Greek kid, Gregorius Nikopopoulos.
Yeah.
And what a fight that was.
It was 2 fights, wasn't it? In the first round, the kid battered Ben, and I'm sat there thinking, oh, that's a mistake here, because we haven't really seen much of the Greek kid. You know, we knew he had a losing record, and we was desperate, so we just took him. But you know, I'm thinking, oh, I've got this one completely wrong, because he knocked Ben from one side of the ring to the other in the first round, and really stuck into him, and I thought, oh no. Anyway, the second round he come out and used his advantages of his jab box, and then he caught him and hurt him, put him down, and fair play to the kid. He didn't like try and hold him or move away. He thought, I'm getting up and having another go, and that was the downfall. And wasn't it? You know, he got caught throwing a big winger himself, so the power would have been double effect, and he went down. It was a bad knockout. I heard his head at the canvas.
Right,
I was a little bit worried for the time, but great to see him get up after about 15 seconds, and obviously he'll do Ben the world of good, but you know, he needs to polish up on his start.
No, it was a cracking. In fact, that was a good thing about the whole show was the opponents. Every one of the opponents, not one of them went into journeyman mode and were looking to hold. They were in the fight.
Yeah, like you say, it was a great show. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get with debutants, and you know, I think all I was performed on Friday night, wasn't it? Yeah, and I was made up with it. I think everybody who come got value for money watching that show.
They did. But then the top of the bill was Brad Rea again, Marius Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, the kid had a losing record, and Brandon was expected to win, but over 6 rounds he wasn't expected to stop him because the kid's never been stopped.
No.
And not talking out of school, but Brandon had been a bit under the weather for a bit of period, and he probably wouldn't have fought if it would have been a normal situation, but he's been out of the ring for so long, and we'd cancelled the show 3 weeks ago, and he seemed destined that he wasn't going to fight again, and he was so desperate to fight that he chose to fight, and the fact that he put in a performance like that when he wasn't 100% only bodes well for the future. I'm really excited about what we're going to do with Brandon.
I tell you what, he had a massive smile walking into that ring. He was absolutely
couldn't believe he finally got there. But you know, everyone knows around Manchester and Liverpool what talent he is, and you know, we'll build him, and hopefully he won't be too long before he's in title fights. Yeah. So I think the only downside of the whole weekend was on Brian Collins, wasn't it? Where
because he should have made his
debut 3 weeks ago on the show that got cancelled. We put it back and went to the weigh-in, weighed in, his opponent weighed in, but he didn't turn up on the night, and he was awful, and you know, I can't speak too much about it because this morning we've sent all the details to our solicitor now. There's 100% a complaint going into the central area over what happened, and we're considering legal action as well for damages, but I don't really want to jeopardise that case at the moment because obviously he's got to be heard, so I can't say any more on that. All I will say, I was devastated for Brian. I know he was devastated, as was his family and friends and everybody who'd come out to support him. He sold a lot of tickets, so there was messed about the first show, there was let down the second show, but what we basically said to him now is, look, you know, we'll give you the free tickets for his next fight, and you know, I've had to do a bit of jiggling, but he's going to fight on the 5th of November now, which is our next show in Liverpool, so it's important now that we make sure we get him matched and with a reliable source, and so that's our priority. So you know, we done a load of good over the weekend, and I think we've had 9 winners, haven't we? And I mean, that was like a loss for Brian. He didn't fight, it was like a loss, and it was a loss for me as well. You know, it's bad. You know, we worked so hard to get 10 fights on the show, and you get let down for something like that. But I say we can't talk about it, but we're going to put it right, and Brian will fight on the 5th of November show.
But a good weekend all around besides that.
Yeah, apart from that, yeah, everything was great. Yeah.
Alright, well I'll catch up with you. We're going up to Hull next weekend, aren't we?
Yeah. We'll do something on that in the next few days because there's a few shows to announce, yeah?
Yeah, alright, we've got quite a few
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.